Hello. Welcome to Power Platform Junkies YouTube channel. My name is Fanny Ndlovu. Before we can just proceed, please subscribe. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to do a very exciting session. So our today topic is we want to store Microsoft form response into the SQL Server table. So the SQL Server table that we're going to use, it will be hosted on Azure. So firstly, before we start, as I have indicated, the SQL Server table will be hosted into Azure. So firstly, before we can go to our Power Automate, we need to go to our Azure. For now, this is the portal, the home page of a portal of an Azure. So if you log in and go to Azure, so let me show you, you can go Google Microsoft Azure, click Microsoft Azure Cloud Computing, and then for me, I will click sign in. Because I already my account has already been I already signed in, so that's why it use cookies to log me in. So then I will click up there to my profile, then I click Azure portal so that it will take me to Azure home. So once I arrive here, I will click all resources. Then the resource that I'm interested in creating, or the services that I'm going to create within my resource, is the database. So then here we know as Azure have different services, but the interesting service that we want to deal with today is databases. And the database that we're going to deal with is an SQL database. So we will click here and create our SQL database. So then you will choose the subscription type, the subscription that you want to create your table or your database. And here you will select the group. So the group that I want to solve under Power Platform Junkies. If you haven't created a resource, you can just simply click create. So it group all your resources. The purpose of today is not Azure. I'll just go through first it. Then what would be the name of my database? So I will name it PP Junkies DB. So I'm going to name it PP Junkies. Let's put it Junkies DB. Then I will create a new server that I want to host my database, because we know that in a database has to be hosted on a particular server. So I'm going to create a server. So the server that I'm going to create is PP Junkies server. So that's the name of my server. Then the location is still fine. I can save it at the region of US, East US. The services available there. The one that I'm going to use here, the authentication method that I'm going to use, is use SQL authentication. And then what I'm going to do here is what will be the name of my admin. Then I will say PP Junkies admin. Then I will enter my password here. So make sure that the information that you enter here you remember, because when you arrive on your automate, this information will be required. So let's click OK. Now we are creating our server. The server that we create is PP Junkies. Then please, and then for the purpose of the session, we are going to select a service type. It's a basic, just for demonstrating simple stuff. Then after we've selected these basics, then I apply the computing. It's just basic. The networking. So when you arrive here, indicate you want to include the public endpoint, so that other services, they can come and use your service of your server services, because you will be hosting your database there. Then here, allow services resources, please, yes. Then here you need to add the current IP, but what we'll do for now, you can say yes. What I'm going to do after this, I'm going to go to set up an IP, but don't worry at the moment. Then the security is fine. Just click create and review. Then here I'm reviewing, everything is up, it's good. Let's check. Yes, it's good. Then we are creating our service. So here we are creating our database that hosts that within a particular server. So let's wait. Then it's still loading. Just bear with us while it's still loading. It's creating or deploying the service. So in the meantime, while we're still waiting for this resource to create, we can go and create our form. So let's go to create our form. We'll say Microsoft form, because what is going to happen on our session is we are going to take the inputs from Microsoft form and store them into SQL Server data table. So let's go and create our form. Then I log in. Still deploying. By the time we are finished, then we come here and we want to create a new form. So our form, the exercise, it's register new customer. So then what we want, we want first name, required last name, and email. So all of them are required, and please remember the name of our form. It called what? Register new name. Then we want everyone to access this form, so you don't need the people within my organization. It shouldn't only be limited to them. We want anyone to respond. Then our form is done. Let's go and check if our database has been deployed. Okay, it's still processing. Okay, let's wait a little bit while it's still deploying. So now our services has been successfully deployed. So the next thing that we're going to do is we go to the resource that we just created, and what we want here, we went to the database. So if you want to, let's say you want to access it directly, remember you will click all your resources. Then the one that we created, we want so usually it will, sorry for that, usually it will show, if you go back to home, at the top of it, the most recent one will be shown at the top. So then you will click it to this one, which is, it's a database. Then what we want, then we will go to query editor. So here now we want to create our table. Our server has been created. Our tables, our server and our database has been created. Now we want to build a table. So because we deal with an SQL, we want to write an SQL code that will create our table. So you can use an SQL Management Studio on your desktop, but Azure, as you see that now, it has an awesome feature called a query editor, so you can run your script on Azure. This is one of the amazing feature. Once I saw it, blown my mind. So yeah, remember the password that you created when you're creating your your server. So that's what you're going to enter here. Then the query will open. So I'll take this script. The purpose of, I will just put it below the you will see below the video where you can download it easily. Then after we have posted our script, we are going to run it. Let's run it. And then it's successfully, the query succeeded, and let's check if the table has been created successfully. Here's our table. It's been created with those fields. So our table has been created, our form has been created. Now we are going to the Power Automate. So when you go to the Power Automate, you can say Portal. One thing that you will see is you will go on your left navigation, and today for this purpose we are not going to build everything from scratch. We are going to use a template that has been already been created. Then click it there, templates. So the templates that we are interested in is just go there and search it, right? SQL and Microsoft Forms. Let's see. Then here it says store Microsoft Forms response in an SQL Server database. So we want this template. All the flows has already been created, and once they are created, one thing that you will just need to do is you will click the template. Then after clicking a template, then it will take you here. So because previously I have already done this exercise, so here it just indicates the account where I have stored. I created my Microsoft form. I need to authenticate it. By default it says invalid, but the fact it has ticked, it shows it successfully. Then let's fix this one. The one that we want is we need to add a new one. We need to add a new connection. The new connection that we will call is PP Customer Registration. So this is the name of our connection. That's what we're going to call it. Then the server name. So to get a server name is simple. Go back home. Don't save it. So then remember we saved our server, or click into the database. Then in the database it will say click. It shows here is the server name, but you can, to see everything, click it here. Then it will give you this some sort of a connection string. So the server name you will copy here. You copy that's that way is TCP. Then you copy the PP junkie server, the database Windows. So that's our server. That's the name of our server. And then we are going to put it there. Then what's the name of our database? Then go back to the connection string on Azure. Then the name of our database, it's junkies DB. Then you copy it here. You go back to your flow. Then you put the name of a database. Then what's the name of your it's PP junkie, your username. Then you come here, you click it here, then you will enter your password. So now we are establishing the connection within our flow. Then we are going to click create. Then once now it's say tick, it just shows that the status, the connection has been validated successfully. So now we are going to do what? We are going to now go to our flows. Remember, it's a template. It uses your form that you already created, and it take your connection on your SQL that you already created and pass it here. So It's so easy. Then remember that I said you must remember the name of your form. Then you will click it here. Then what's the name of our form? Let's check it. It says register new customer. Then let's go to register new customer. Let's check it. Register new customer. That's the name of our form. Then even here is still the same. Register new customer. So it's when you respond, when it's submitted, which form will be submitted is that. Which details that we will get on the form? We will get the details of register new customer form. Then after this, it has to show the fields that are within that register new customer form. Let's wait a little bit. Then after we have selected, then it will show those fields. Let's wait a little bit. Okay, then it has recognized it. Then which server we want to use? PP Junkie server, the name of a database. PP Junkie DB, the name of a table. It's what is a customer. Then let's see that the fields that are there, the columns. Then here are the columns. So what we're going to do, then the customer name, remember it's the name of our column that side. Then the customer last name, then the email address. So then what we're going to do, customer name, first name, you are matching what is on your form with your what is in your database. So remember that we want to store under customer first name, we want to store the first name from our form. Then under customer last name, we want to store the customer name. Then let's click last name. Then the email, we will click email. Then the item submitter is no longer present in the operation. So here just like which item, who has submitted this item, because remember that this let's try to leave them as they are, because we are not going to store them in a database. We don't have such field. So let's save them. Then your flow is ready. And so then what we want to do, we are not yet done. The steps that we will add is we want to notify or to send an email to the person who have provided the details to indicate that you were successfully registered. Then we will go Office Outlook. Then we want to send an email. Then to who? To this, let's check it. Add dynamics, which is email. Then subject, you do the first name. Successfully registered. Start, and you say hello, this first name, thank you so much for your registration, best regards, PP Junkies team. So then we are done. We can save our flow. Then now the next thing what we're going to do is we are going to run our flow. So let's wait, it's still saving. While it's still saving, everything ran right. Let's test it that to see that everything is running right. Then to see if it's working, the user should be submitted. We just want to test that everything will pass. But remember, what's going to trigger our form is the form. What's going to trigger our flow is the form. So we come here to collect response, then copy the link. Then let's come here. So then, yeah, we testing our so I'm going to log into my Gmail, the Power Junkies Gmail. So this is the email address where I'm going to submit the email, or where the email will be sent at. I paste it there. The name is Power Platform Junkies. So let's submit it. Successfully submitted. So let's go and check it on our flow, that if we have it has been successfully submitted, then the email was successful. You see that it has been sent. But the most important thing that we want to check, if it has been successfully added in our SQL. So that go to the server again, you click it, this is the database, you click in the query editor, then you enter your password, and okay, then let's go and check our table. Then we want to check if information was submitted. Then here is the information, Power Platform Junkies, and that's the email. So that was it, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Then here's the email address, here's the email where it was sent. Then there it is. Hello Power Platform, thank you so much for your registration. Best regard, Power Platform. Today, Power Platform Junkies team. Thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed. Have a lovely day.